What made it possible for Brooke to reach out to a conventional GMO farmer in Colorado and have a curiosity conversation? How was he able to hold space for that farmer in a way that allowed him to completely open up and share his story? Today, I would like to tell Brooke's story for how it's possible to disagree and maybe even collaborate with love, and how gathering new information from new sources could help us take much better action within the climate and environmental space, for instance. But let me start by asking you, how would you prepare for a meeting with someone that holds a completely different view of the world, with very different values and ideas for what is the best way forward? I think most of us would prepare our arguments, check our numbers and facts, and maybe consider what arguments the counterpart would bring up and then how to trump from that, right? In this way of coming into a meeting would very often lead to a battle of arguments. Would you agree? So how was Brooke able to do it differently? She is the sweetest animal lover you can imagine. A lady in her 60s, living in Colorado with an organic fertilizer company, regenerating life in the soil, a firm advocate for healthy, nutritious food, and very much against any chemical and non-natural ways of food production. And so what was planned to be a 1-hour curiosity conversation between opposites turned into 3 hours of storytelling, packed with information and an invitation for Brooke to come and visit in springtime, so the farmer could better show her the operation of a modern farm. This meeting happened because Brooke was a participant in our program, Leading with Love Training, Healing the Food System, a program that Adam Fishman and I held in Farmers Footprint during most of 2022 and 23. The best part of this story was how Brooke came back, very excited, telling us all about how much she had learned. Things about irrigation, the food system, and the conditions for farming in general, things she had no clue about before. And this is my point. We have a chance to learn and grow even more, or maybe more holistically, when we reach out to people that have a different worldview than our own. Today, we have information available like never before, but we also have the option of selecting who we want to listen to. We follow our favorite YouTuber or guru on some social media and spend very little time actually listening to and trying to understand and learn from people with a completely different frame of reasoning. So depending on our source of information, we can get auto-confirmed very quickly that I'm right and you're wrong. This happens both for climate change fanatics as well as flat earthers or climate change deniers. We all fall prey to the easy comfort of being around people we agree with. Okay, so the next point I would like to make is that if we want to come up with new and better solutions or actions to take, we need an inclusive process for getting a broader spectrum of people to support the changes and actions we would like to see happen. If not, then whatever we do will only last until the next government takes office and then reverse everything that we have done. So let's try to go about this in a different way. We need to understand that this is so much more about creating connections between human beings to be able to grow these relationships that make things possible. And for this to happen, really, all we need to do is lead with love rather than fear. This is so easy to say, but so much harder to practice. And that is why we have created a program that we call gratitude-based learning. The thing is that we need tools, techniques, frameworks, support, and a space to practice how to lead with love and how to create an authentic feeling of gratitude and curiosity, just like Brooke. If you were to reach out to someone and you want them to open up and share honestly and truthfully everything that they believe, think, or feel. Only the truth is actually of value here if we want to expand our pool of information so that we can grow our understanding of any given situation in a more holistic way. That would again give us the chance to see the whole picture. This is absolutely crucial for leaders to have all relevant information available, right? So how would you make sure that those people you interact with actually are telling you how they really feel or think about your idea? It requires that you are able to hold space where trust can be built. And that is often a process that takes time. But we can start by feeling authentic gratitude for whatever exists today and for those people we try to connect with. Then our vibration and energy will allow for a strong connection to happen so much faster. Please remember that it's only a very small percentage of our communication that actually comes out of our mouth. The rest is body language, energy, frequency, and chemistry. So here, there's no fake it until you make it. If your words does not match your energy, it can be felt. And the person in front of you will most likely shut down instead of sharing openly with you. So let me give you just a simple exercise from our program that you can start to practice today that can help us start to feel authentic gratitude. By the way, Adam Fishman will do a workshop later today about our program in case you would like to dive in deeper. The exercise is about creating a mindset shift. The constant flow of feed of news from this world is filled with problems and is somehow conditioning us to become focused on all that's bad, broken, and in need of fixing. It creates a certain vibes in and around us. So let's change that by starting to consciously look for the positive ripple effect. Let's take Brooks' GMO farmer, happily using chemicals in his production. I guess for many of us, it will be hard to find anything to be appreciative of, right? But in fact, the simple fact that he is producing a lot of cheap food while being able to support his family. So because a lot of food is being produced, there's a whole industry happening where a lot of jobs are being created. So that's a positive impact. And now look for the ripple effect because of that positive impact. Because a lot of people can get a job, they're now paying taxes, and we have the opportunity to create a socially stable society. You can go on building on what's happening because of that. Those are the ripples that we are consciously trying to look for. So much is possible simply because there's a farmer getting up in the morning and producing food, even though it is with GMO and chemicals. If I choose to tune into those positive ripples, I could so much more easily feel and express an authentic gratitude for that farmer when we meet. I'm not asking you to put on a scale all the good stuff over here and compare it with all of the bad stuff over here, I'm not asking you to change your opinion on conventional GMO farming, but I'm asking you to consider if you were to have a conversation with that farmer where you would like him to open up and share with you, would focusing on the good or the bad be most helpful? Some of you may ask, why gratitude? Why doing the mindset shift from focusing on problems versus focusing on the positive? Isn't this just going to lead to toxic positivity? If everybody's running around saying thank you all the time, why even bother to reach out to people from the other side? Why is creating relationships and communities so important? First, let me admit that yes, there is a real danger that gratitude-based learning could be abused in a way that could lead to toxic positivity. And that is why the gratitude has to be authentic. And it can only become authentic if we understand that we need to work first and foremost with ourselves. I could go into the science of the brain, how focusing on problems activate the analytical part and shrinks the empathetic part, etc. But I would rather spend these last minutes to tune into the importance of reaching out to others and creating those connections and relationships that would allow for information to flow between us. But more importantly, I believe that we need to learn to reach out to one another, especially those we disagree with, if we want to be able to evolve the story we tell ourselves about who we are, why we are here, and where we are going. Expanding the pool of information to grow our understanding, if not to say our collective consciousness itself, I believe is key and center for a new and not yet fully perceived story of what would be possible if we came together in one humanity. I believe our time on this earth can be compared with a caterpillar that is about to turn into a butterfly. Not only have we eaten up any resources we could find, we have also closed ourselves up in our own individual cocoon, and we are now in the process of decay and death. As you may know, the caterpillar and the butterfly have the same genes, and that should not even be possible to conventional science and understanding of the genes. More than just a hormonal change, I believe that those cells in the caterpillar somehow were able to change their perception of themselves and their collective future. I believe they started telling themselves a new story of what they could become together, and that started to activate the genes in a new way. If we are to make a shift happen, to go from being cells individually on the earth and come together as humanity, and making that shift happen in a state of love rather than fear, I believe to have identified a key ingredient required, and that is for us to be able to hold space for people to be vulnerable. And that is why relationships and supports in community will be more important than ever before. And for us to learn those human skills of collaborations, what better place to start than with gratitude and curiosity? I believe that will teach us how to lead with love. So let me leave you with one question. When looking at how the world is falling apart, with all the problems, wars, and crises on the rise, could you feel gratitude for that?